So in the first question, we have a cylindrical conductor of radius r carrying constant current, the plot of magnetic field B with distance d from the center of the conductor. Okay, so basically we have a cylindrical conductor. Okay, so this is a cylindrical solid conductor and it is carrying current in the upward direction. Okay, so now we have to give the graph, or we have to choose the graph showing the variation of magnetic field with distance from the center. So this is the center. Okay, now in the outer region, so this is the outer region. So in the outer region, we know that magnetic field, it is given by B equal to mu naught I by twice pi r, where r is the distance from the center. Okay, so here B is inversely proportional to r. B is inversely proportional to r. Okay, now this is outside. Okay, this result is magnetic field outside the conductor. Okay, now when you are on the surface, magnetic field on the surface, so here on the surface this small r will be replaced by capital R, so it will be mu naught I by twice pi capital R, if capital R is the radius. Okay, now here in the question this distance is given to be d. Okay, so this r is d. So radius of the cylindrical conductor is r. So here the magnetic field is a constant value on the surface. Okay, now if you see on the inner part at location which is inside the conductor, here the magnetic field B, it is mu naught I r divided by twice pi r square. Okay, where capital R is the radius, small r is the distance from the center. In this question we have this small r is as written to be d. Okay, so here inside you can see that magnetic field is directly proportional to r. Magnetic field is directly proportional to r. Okay, so if two quantities are directly proportional, you will get a straight line. Okay, so if you use that knowledge, okay, so what you will see that in the inner region, magnetic field will be directly proportional, so it is straight line, and in the outer region, since B is inversely proportional to r, you will get a curve like this. So this is magnetic field, this is distance d from the center. Okay, so this value, the magnetic field acquires a maximum value. This is the maximum value of the magnetic field, and this acquires a maximum value when the point of observation is on the surface. So if you see the options, option D matches with this, and option D is the correct answer. So now coming to question number 2, ionized hydrogen atoms and alpha particles with same momenta enters perpendicular to constant magnetic field. Okay, so the ratio of the radii is asked. Now the formula for radius, okay, the formula for radius is r, it is equal to mv by qb. Okay, now this is the momentum. Now it is given that the magnetic field is same, the momentum is also same, so that means this quantity and this quantity, it is constant, so r is inversely proportional to q. R is inversely proportional to q. Now what is asked? RH by r alpha, radius of path, ratio of the radius of path for ionized hydrogen and alpha particles. So this will be equal to q alpha by qh, isn't it? Because radius is inversely proportional to the charge. So q alpha is 2, q of hydrogen atom, ionized hydrogen atom is 1, so it is 2:1. So if you see the option B is the correct answer. Now in question number 3, we have two toroids, 1 and 2 have total number of turns 200 and 100. Average radii is given 40 centimeter and 20 centimeter. If they carry same current, the ratio of the magnetic field along the two loops, that is two loops means inside the toroids, what is the ratio of the magnetic field? So now we know that inside a toroid, magnetic field B, it is mu naught Ni. Okay, I is the current, n is the number of turns per unit length. So n is equal to total number of turns divided by length. So since it is a loop of radius r, average radius r, so length will be twice by r. Okay, so see, mu naught is same for both, current is same for both. This n small n is capital N by twice by r. So that means B, it is directly proportional to capital N, total number of turns, inversely proportional to small r. Okay, now that means B1 by B2, it will be equal to N1 by N2 into R2 by R1. Okay, so now if you substitute the values, you will get the option as this. Substituting all the values, you will get it as 1:1. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. So now in question number 4, we have a loop. Okay, now to this loop, this current is entering here, and this is I, current I, and one part is going in this direction, this is I1, one part is going in this direction, this is I2, and it is emerging out from this point. So this I1 comes like this, I2 comes like this, and then it emerges out as I2. At this center point, we have to find the magnetic field. Okay, at center point P, we have to find the magnetic field. Now for any such condition, it may be a loop, it may be a loop in the circular form or in triangular form. If current is entering the loop at one part and it is leaving in another part, the net magnetic field at the center point of symmetry, it is always equal to 0. Okay, it is always equal to 0. So here directly you can say that option A is the correct answer. Okay, I have also explained this in a video. Okay, I will give you the link in the description for the detailed discussion. You can have a look in depth. But for any kind of, see, this may be of a triangular shape or a square shape. Okay, but if current is entering at one part, suppose it is a square and current is entering at one part and leaving at some other part, the magnetic field at the center, it will always be 0. Okay, but one condition is there, like for the current entering the loop and for the current leaving the loop, those elements must be such that the point of observation is along the axis. Okay, so here suppose in this question, the question which is given here, current is coming like this, it is leaving like this, this is the center point. So the center point is along the axis of this part and it is also along the axis of this part. So for these two parts, magnetic field is 0. Okay, and for this symmetrical part also, the magnetic field will be 0. So option A is the correct answer. So in question number 5, you have a metallic rod of mass per unit length 0.5 kg per meter lying horizontally on a smooth inclined plane. Okay, so this is the smooth inclined plane of inclination theta. The angle theta value is given in the question. Okay, angle is given theta to be 30 degree. Here the rod is placed horizontally. Okay, magnetic field is in the upward direction. Okay, the rod is not allowed to slide down by the current flowing through it. So because of the flow of current, this rod is not coming down, and we have to find the value of the current flowing in the rod. Okay, so if this is mg, the weight of the rod, this angle will be theta, so this will be mg sine theta. Okay, now this rod, it is carrying current I, and so current is flowing in the inward direction, magnetic field is in the upward direction, so the magnetic force, it will be in this direction, horizontal direction. Now since this angle is theta, this angle will also be theta, so the component which is along the incline, it will, if this is ILB, this is theta, so this component along the incline, it will be, how much, I am writing it over here, it will be ILB cos theta. Okay, so the rod is stationary, it is not coming down, that means this component ILB cos theta and mg sin theta, this must be equal. So current will be equal to how much? It will be L G by B sin theta by cos theta tan theta. Okay, mass is not given, length is not given, but mass per unit length is given. It is 0.5 kg per meter. B is 0.25 Tesla, theta is 30 degree. So if you substitute the values, you will get option D as the correct answer. Now in this question we have a particle of mass m, charge q, kinetic energy T enters a transverse uniform magnetic field of induction B. After 3 seconds the kinetic energy of the particle will be, and there are 4 options given. Okay, so actually see, when a particle q, now it enters a region of magnetic field, it is acted upon by a force that is called the magnetic Lorentz force. Now this force is given by the expression F is equal to Q V cross B. V cross B. Okay. So as such, this force, it is perpendicular to the direction of velocity. Okay. Force and velocity, they are perpendicular. Now if force and velocity, they are perpendicular, obviously the force will be perpendicular to the displacement S. So work done will be 0. Work done by magnetic Lorentz force is 0. Okay. Now since work done is 0, work done is also equal to change in kinetic energy. Okay. Work done is equal to change in kinetic energy. So since work done is 0, change in kinetic energy will also be 0. So there will not be any change in the kinetic energy. So since the particle enters the field with kinetic energy T, so after after 3 seconds also, 3 seconds, the kinetic energy will remain same. Okay. So option A is the correct answer.